Hello, everyone. I spent nearly my whole professional life creating something which I recognized someday will ever be a Trojan horse, nothing more within the EU. Then, round about a year ago, I read on Christoph's website about this conference. I asked my daughter if we want to join here. Then we joined last year, talked to Titus, and now I'm able to speak here. I come to tell you about something I think you Free City people should know about. Maybe this leads to something. But let me start with a question. Who in the room has children? Raise your hands up for a second, please. Okay. I ask this because every time when a child gets born, the future asks us something and has a message for us. The message is, don't mess this up with this new life. And yet, almost everywhere on Earth, we design systems that do exactly that. We take this incredible potential, wrap it in bureaucracy, and call this education. The result? Millions of young people leaving school with certificates in their hand, but without orientation in their heart. And this is not an accident. This is architecture. I realized very late, but I realized when I got a father. For 200 years, education systems have been built for governability, not for human flourishing. But free cities represent the opposite idea, right? They are the first attempt to design governance around freedom instead of control. And that's why we need a new foundation, an operating system for learning and human potential. My name is Marcell Heinrich. I'm the founder of Hero Society. For more than 25 years, me and my team have helped over 1.2 million young people to find career paths which fit their talents. I have trained round about 12,000 teachers, and I advised ministries of education, so-called education, in Germany, in Austria, Luxembourg, and also in Switzerland. I'm not building schools. I'm building the architecture that makes free talent development possible. What you will see in the next minute is not a model. It is an education operating system for freedom. And if free cities want to thrive, I think they will need one. I will show how existing systems suppress potential, what the architecture of a free city education looks like, and how this design can scale from one community to an entire city. I think so. You will see why families and investors follow education like gravity, and how your city can become magnetic for both. Because governance is the structure, but education is the life within the structure. Many kids are asked, what do you want to become later when you're grown up? But the true question is, what are we originally? Nature has a blueprint for every human which comes to Earth, for every child. Each is meant for a higher purpose, a unique form of contribution. I'm sure about that. We are potential, untamed, unmeasured, pure potential, nothing else. But our systems don't nurture it, they suppress it. And when we forget this, education becomes a cage instead of a cocoon. Almost every system, every education system on the planet is optimized for governability, not for human flourishing. From the Prussian classroom to the modern Zoom session, The goal never changed. Compliance. After all my years of work, I realized education today doesn't serve human unfolding, it serves system stability. From the very first day, children learn not to know themselves, but to perform in their assigned role. They live unfulfilled in schools, not even knowing what's missing. And stepping out of the system is quite difficult. In some countries, like Germany, parents who choose differently are punished. That's how deep the architecture goes. Millions stand at the school gates with certificates, but without orientation. Half a generation is lost in transition. They hold paper proof of performance, but no sense of self-efficacy. Many were broken by an education system that never reflected who they are. They no longer remember what makes them strong. The result? Meaning crisis, burnout, performance pressure. In school first, in working life later. Others escape completely into the digital void. Seduced, isolated, well entertained. They're not lazy, just lost. They were never invited to discover what they truly are. But some remember, some rise up. Some dare the courageous step into freedom, which I recognized last year when I was here with my daughter. These are the people who create free cities, people like you. And free cities attract the same people back. Those who remember, those who rise, those who build. And those are exactly the people you want in your cities. Freedom alone is not enough. Free cities need free minds. People who dare to unfold their potential. These are the people who will build communities, families, entrepreneurs, creators. They come because they seek an education that liberates, not domesticates. And that's why education must be magnetic for the free. It must create empowered humans, not only compliant citizens. So the question is, how do we build an education system that serves freedom, really serves freedom? One that's inclusive, scalable, and economically viable. Without copying the old patterns of control again and again. What me and my team have built is not a school. It's an education operating system. Analog and digital, inclusive, culture agnostic, scalable from community level to global scale. It starts here with human encounters, a mentor meeting a child as a subject, not as an object. That's where education returns into its natural state, relationship and discovery. It's built on principles that re-enable human potential. As you see, mentors, heralds, and teachers as companions, the principle of self-chosen challenges, the principle of protected curiosity, of trial-error learning, and of moments of self-assurance each week. The principle of lifelong learning desire, and of talent reports instead of grades. These principles are not theory, they are mechanisms that create transformation. When a young person discovers who they are, what they can do, and where their contribution matters, they start to act like free citizens. And as a necessary effect, They learn how to read, write, and calculate. Freedom begins inside, with self-knowledge and a purpose for contribution. Being understood matters most. Even without literacy, a human being can be seen, mentored, and guided. This is how talent unfolds in every context, through recognition and real-world participation. This works in rural villages as well as in urban schools. Based on data, the system creates an understandable talent profile together with a personalized talent report. Each report is carefully adapted, linguistically tuned, culturally sensitive, and practically worded, so that it's clear and useful for every person, no matter their background. It includes personal strengths, developmental advice, and concrete recommendations for the next steps. It's not abstract assessment, it's practical clarity. The kind of feedback that can change the course of a whole life. And yes, it even translates into the logic of the Western labor market. From potential to performance, same architecture, different context. It includes a matching process with vocational role models, using so-called matching scores that show how well someone fits in a certain role or a position based on his own talents. This helps young people find orientation and helps companies find the right people. This is how the world of work connects with human growth, not by extracting talent, but by cultivating it. That's a small but important difference. That's why it can scale from a local mentoring group to global talent cycles. This operating system works both offline and online. It translates human potential into real-world roles, through feedback instead of grades, through results instead of pressure. It includes potential-oriented and compatible with different cultures around the world. Even with the capitalist logic of the West, because it speaks the language of the labor market. From a village in Africa to a company in Europe. The same architecture can run everywhere. That's what makes it scalable. That's what makes it a real operating system for freedom. I've spent the last 25 years building this architecture. Tested with more than 1.2 million young people, refined it with ministries, companies, and schools across Europe. And I know it works. But within the current EU framework, it cannot truly scale. All here know that. That's why I'm here with you. Because free cities are the few places on earth where education and freedom can finally grow together. So let's sit down and design how this system can serve your city, your families, your companies, your future citizens. The system was created in Germany. It was sharpened, tested, and proven there. Now we are building the next level of infrastructure, a truly global version of it. And free cities can become the first places on earth where education finally serves freedom. That's why my team and I are opening now the next chapter. We are looking for partners and investors who understand that real freedom needs infrastructure. If you want freedom to survive, let's scale this operating system that makes it possible. This is not philanthropy, to get that right. It's real architecture with measurable impact and holistic ROI. Let's create the first free education zone. If you're interested in that, then hit me up via this link and let's have a talk. Thank you very much.